In this video, we're going to talk about those minors who are 14 to 15 years old. So minors that are 14 to 15 years old, in other words, they're under 16 at this moment, they may be employed outside of school hours. So we're going to talk very deeply about this in just a moment, in non-manufacturing and non-hazardous jobs for a limited period of time. So when we talk about hazardous jobs, there are all sorts of descriptions of this. It is very detailed. There are tons and tons of documents out there describing hazardous jobs, but I just narrowed down some of the common ones that you might see if you're a pizza company restaurant and you have people driving. Well, minors who are 14 or 15 years old can't be driving. That's considered a hazardous job. Meat cutting or slicing machines. If you operate a deli and you have a minor 14 or 15 years old, they cannot use that meat cutting or slicing machine. They're not allowed to. Power-driven bakery machines. If you're a bakery, again, same thing. Using knives. Trash compactors. That's literally like the trash compactor in the back of your building where you go and drop any sort of cardboard boxes that compact it. They cannot operate that. They can't work in baking operations of any kind. So they can't bake cakes. They can't bake any of those things. So they can't even get involved with baking operations. If they're a cake decorator, probably can get away with that. But again, you can talk to the Department of Labor or an attorney to see. And they basically can't work in freezers or meat coolers either. So they have to stay away from those environments. Now, I want to be very clear with you that typically I've seen violations, and I do keep track of this from a visual standpoint. Most cases that come up are when minors are working too many hours or working when they're not supposed to. But it's not to say that they aren't using meat cutters or trash compactors or those are the most common ones that I see is when minors are using trash compactors when they're not supposed to, or they're using a meat cutting or slicing machine. Those two come up almost always. So if you're a restaurant, you need to make sure that your minors know that they can't touch those machines. You need to train your managers to not touch those things, to not let the minors touch those things either. Now, outside of school hours means not during school hours when school is in session. So hopefully that makes enough sense. If school starts at 8 o'clock a.m. in the morning, that means the minor can't be working during 8 a.m. to, let's say, 2:30 in the afternoon. They're not allowed to work during those hours. They're not allowed to. But it goes even deeper than that. They're not allowed to work more than 3 hours on school days, including Fridays. So Monday through Friday, when school is in session, they're not allowed to work more than 3 hours on a school day. If they work more than that, they're working too many hours. You can be cited for that or fined for that. They can't work more than 8 hours on a non-school day. So we're talking about Saturday or Sunday or when school is not in session. So clearly there are times where they're off for break. Here in Louisiana, we have Mardi Gras break. So when Mardi Gras break happens, schools are closed. So they're not allowed to work more than 8 hours on a non-school day. If they work more than that, you can get penalized or fined for that. No more than 18 hours during weeks when school is in session. So again, when school is in session, that means they can't work more than 18 hours. So remember, if it's 3 hours a day, that's 15 right there. So if they work on a Saturday, they can work no more than no more than 3 hours on that Saturday. Again, no more than 18 hours when school is in session. Now, when it's summer break, different story. Summer break in their description is from June 1st to Labor Day. So that's when summer break is. The minor 14 to 15 years old can work no more than 40 hours when school is not in session. So they can't work overtime. They have to work just 40 hours. They can't work anymore. They can work less than that, but they can't work more than that. And they can work between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. except June 1st through Labor Day. Now, when I say 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., that doesn't mean I'm saying, oh, they can work during school hours. Remember, I just said they cannot work during school hours, and the Fair Labor Standards Act is very clear. But if the employee comes in from 7 a.m. and school starts at 9 o'clock for them, yes, they can come in and work from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. if they want to, or 7 to 7:30. They can come in and work from that, but they can't work before 7 a.m. and they can't work after 7 p.m. Now, when summer break happens, they're allowed to work till 9 p.m. So they actually extend the hours. So if an employee needs to work till 9 p.m., they can. But again, these are the hour restrictions for minors that are 14 to 15 years of age.